Hi everyone. Just we're going to start the webinar. I was expecting a few more people, but doesn't matter. My belief is even if it's a one person there, it's a worth doing the exercise. And I'm lucky I have two people actually, so it's not. But my name is Ali Shafkat, and first of all, I just want to ask you, can you hear me? How you can reply if you use Alt H? Can you use Alt H? It'll bring the chat window. Excellent. Thanks, Aves. I can get your confirmation. How about Noor? You can hear me as well. Excellent. I say we get started. Few people registered, but it's always happen. But as it's the first one we're doing of this kind. We normally do high school things, and this is the first time we're doing something for the unique students. So I just introduced myself again. My name is Ali Shafkat. I'm a teacher for 24 years on different capacities in a uni, TAFE, and now I teach some of the high school kids as well. I have mentored more than 360 kids so far in different capacities. And by myself, I'm an IT consultant focusing on Google technologies. So that's what I do for a living as well. Moving on, you are here on Young Innovators Network organized this workshop. I'm a part of Young Innovators. It's a network that helps learners to how to be a smart learner basically, and help them be more productive. At the moment, my capacity is I'm a program coordinator in that. We organize events, webinars, workshops, and sessions, outdoor, indoor. You'll get more because you are in our mailing list. You'll get time to time what kind of activities we're doing at the moment. Moving on is housekeeping. I just go quickly. Very nice. You guys are very tech savvy. You quickly get on the chat. Chat is our communication means from your side. So if you get a chance to talk, make sure there's no background noise. And we didn't had a chance to test your mic as well, but if you get to that point, if your mic doesn't give you a good time, you stick to the chat. And because we are not doing any camera activities, so I ignore the device controls at the moment. And anything you need to communicate, use the Alt H. And at the end, please do give us a feedback, and you can continuously give us feedback back from the chat as well. For example, it says boring, I'm going away, any kind of things, because that will help me to learn how you're thinking, how you're feeling. And if you want to go away for some reason, just put it there. I'll be away for next 5-10 minutes because I can't see you. I assume you guys are staying there. So moving on, let's start the topic. This is very important basic question I ask all the students. Why do we study? So these are the options. You pick any option, what your heart says. You just type in your chat box. As I say, only two of you, so that's fine for me. But I need to learn something. Pick any of the option and type in your chat box. Say, like, I want to study because whatever your heart says, you don't need to. It's not something we are judging you on. But very quickly, if you tell me you want to get a degree, I want a job, or you want a job and have a money, or you want to have a job so you can have a good life. What do you think? Or all of them? I normally give a 10-second pause. If I don't get a response or something, I move on. That's what we normally do because I don't know what you're thinking at the moment. Excellent, Wes. That's good choice. Yes. We're going to touch on a little bit more on a good life. Excellent. Excellent. No, very, very well. So that's what excites me. That's what makes me something I learned, which I didn't learn before. The beautiful sentence Noor mentioned there. Education empowers a person. Other things are byproduct. Excellent. It's a very good quotation, what you said there. And that's really nice as well. Learning by itself is give you something which give you everything else. That's a beautiful thing to start with. Okay, coming to that, like it's the same thing. I'll touch on both. As I said, we need a good life, and the Noor said that we need the knowledge to empower us. So just give me 1 second. One person need a little help, so I'm just gonna go help. I'm gonna go help. Yeah, done. So good life is composed of many things. You can, if you find anything missing there, you just type in there. So look, this is not there. For me, it's being a healthy and happy. That's having a balanced lifestyle. Good finance, money is important. Even it's not the thing, but it's the fuel of the life. You need it. Without family, if you're so rich, but nobody's around to share with, that's not as well. Friends are extended family. If you got a work which gives you money and all the rest of the things, but you're not happy there, still you don't have a good life. So job satisfaction wasn't the part of the good life before. People say, I can do anything. Not anymore, because that makes you disturb your rest of the life as well. Similarly, if you have a stress of any kind, it can be stress from family, or you're losing money, or any life is not balanced, you are sick. So that's also a big trouble as well. You've seen so many rich people doing suicide. There are other reasons. So it means there is something negative going on in their life. So that's one thing I wanted to touch on it. Welcome, Hamza. You are online as well. We on pretty much in the starting, we are defining a good life. Moving on. So this is a quotation. I say, job is not the life. It is part of the life. It's same like money is not a life. It's a part of the life. Similarly, life starts from when you're breathing, you're alive. Rest of the things are the frill. You can keep extending them. If you're going back to million years, human just had the being alive. That's it. And they had a bit of food and a bit of shelter. That's all they had. But we say they had a life. You can't say they didn't have a life. So because the ultimate product or the objective of the learning, not ultimate, one of the main objective is to get a good job, a job which you want to for at least 30 years plus. Okay. Now we're coming back to the, I'm just setting up a scene for the, to say why we're studying. So you get a bit of idea why we're doing this. So if you go in comparing the philosophy and the reality of the study and life, when you're going from a high school to a uni or a TAFE, you're basically one step away from a practical life. Okay? Because after that, you're going to get a job, most probably, and you will be looking for a job. Some people after school start to look for a job for some reason. And as I explained before, job is not a guarantee for a good life. So that's what you need to make sure self-clear about it. Because some people just think about a dream job and that's it's going to complete my job. I tell you, reality is when you get a good job, then you're going to think of many more things to buy or have, including marriage, the car and home, so many things more. And when you go to uni, most of the people focus on the degree. They don't look at, this is the place I need to prepare myself for the life as well as job, both. Because job is, look at the, in reality, it will be about 30% of your life, of 30% of time of your life will be spent there. So you should be look at it. Uni is an environment where I need to prepare myself for the life where I'm going to also have a job too. And when I say, if you are in my, when I look at the students or any human being, what I see them, if you look at your personality or yourself as a totality for the other people, you are just a collection of habits and attitudes to do things. I repeat that. The way you walk, way you talk, way you write, these are the habits. These are the habits that you makes you in reality. If you look at again, whatever the way you sleep, all those things makes you as a person. And on top of it, your attitude towards others, including projects, including job, including other people, that attitude and those habits makes you. So if you want to improve yourself, these are the two things you need to improve. Habits is a personal development, and the attitude you need to do or develop when you're working with others. There's no other way. You can't change your attitude by yourself. You can think, but you need to practice while you're interacting with the others. It might be a little bit of philosophy. If you don't get it, that's all right as well. The other thing I wanted to get you across, if you get it, that'll be really, really nice. But in reality, your life is only one day. I repeat, your life is only one day. And if I make it even smaller, your life is only one breath. The rest is you repeating it. So if somebody asks you, look, how can it be one day? I'm 23 years old, or I'm 18 years old, I'm 17 years old. How can it be one day? But if you look at it, the unit of your life is only one day. You only repeat it. So what does that mean? You only focus your actions only on that day. And what day is past, you don't talk about it, done it, dusted, but only you remember what you learned from there. That's going to carry you forward. Your action will be carried forward. Your lessons will be carried forward. Otherwise, what happened? No regret, nothing, you should not do it. So just give me one little second. Okay, done. There's another person needed help. So that is a little bit philosophy I wanted to get across to give you some. If you get something out of it, that'll be really nice, but it doesn't have to be. Just give me another one. Just give me one. Okay. So if I sum up this whole thing, uni is a training place, or a TAFE is a training place where you're going to get trained for a good life for that one day. It can be a TAFE because you are only one step away from getting a practical life where you'll be independent, you'll be adult, and you'll be doing your own decision, and you'll be making your own resources. Might be some people start part-time jobs as well. So this is the set plan you should have on similar lines. Beautiful. Noor, I need to talk to you more about it. This is a beautiful, I done that about 10-hour course on Power of Now. This is the biggest, that's the summary. I gave it to you in 2 minutes. I really appreciate, Noor, you added something which, there's a book written by Mr. Name is a little bit Eckhart Tolle, is Power of Now. That's what he explains, because your past and your future is just imagination. The future is imagination. The past is just a dream. It's gone. All you can make a difference that is today. Today is the day, and that makes you so free from many things, but you want to get trained for it. I'll give you another quote which is not takes away. Eckhart Tolle, yep. So I'm in the middle of many geniuses today, even the number is not very high. So what I'm going to say to you, it doesn't matter. I'm going to type it here. It doesn't matter what life throws at you. It only matters what you make out of it. I'll give you a small, quick joke. There was two guys, one was very optimistic, one was very pessimistic. And the father wanted to change those people. One is always take negative side and one is to always take positive side. And he wanted to change the negative one. What he did, he gave him a lot of toys in his, collected all the toys in his room. And the other one, other son, he put who's very positive one, he put a poo of a horse or a pony. Look at that. If you get a shit in your room and the other guy gets all the favorite toys of the day, and he bring both son at home and give it, the one son, he give it to say, look, who's always negative about the things. He said, look, how he's going to be negative about it. And he took him over there and said, go and get the surprises. From the guy who's very negative, he get all the toys, he's crying, still crying. And the other one is jumping and happy. And he went to the guy who's very negative son. He said, son, what happened to you? Why are you so like that? And he said, look, no, I get so many toys. I have to read all the instruction and then my cousins will come. They're going to take away and I can't bear that. The other one is happy. And he asked him, how can you be happy about that? He said, I can see the poo of a pony. So I must be having a pony in a house and I'm going to ride and I'm going to enjoy that. So that is what we want get our, because the situations around you will be up and down. The main thing is you should be up all the time. You should be trained for that. So keep moving on. This was a bit of a set scene. If you have any question, I'll be happy to answer that. Anything you want to just share some thought. And then we move on to the actual practical side of that, how we can go through a day of a life of a student who's studying in a uni type. So if you have any question, I'll give you 10, 15 seconds. You can type it up there. Meanwhile, I just prepare for the next part of the thing, which is a more practical sided. If you find me a little bit fast, give me feedback as well. So we take a 20-second break. Okay, so it looks like everybody's okay with the thing and we moving on. I want to ask you one question, which is very important. If you, I want you to use your fingers to type some of the things. If you go for a job interview at certain office or any of your area you're getting degree, what are the things you think they will be expecting from you? Just anything you think of right now, you can multiply add things. So I repeat that. If you're going for a job interview, and what are the things your prospective employer will be looking into you? So you can type any of the things. Otherwise, as I say, I'll give you 20-second pause and then I go through my things, That's very good. All the ideas. Yes, Asma said self-confidence. Very nice. Wes said team player. Absolutely. Shan said you need to be good with the workforce. Yes. You guys are stealing most of my ideas. Wes said passionate. Yeah, that is very big word. Technical skill and soft skills. Wow, no look like a very experienced person. Doesn't look like to me a student. I didn't ask actually. So I'm believing that most of you are finishing high school and going to the uni, but doesn't matter if you're already in the uni. I should have asked, but number is not very big to innovative. Yep. Let's see this. Let's go and look at the qualities. I think what we see through the research. When you go for a job interview, the reality check is that you should be passionate. Obviously, you need to be an experienced person. That's what is a big question mark. I come back to it. Hardworking, team player, yes. Committed to work, good with the communication, punctual, presentable. If you look at it, the big question mark, they don't ask you you need to be expert in what you are, but they want experience. This is what, if you look at I have seen few ads, I should have put it here. They want fresh graduate with experience. I've seen few ads onto the ad websites. They want fresh graduates written clearly with a 2-year experience. How can we get it? Practical skills, Gosha said, yeah, knowledge, communication. If you look at it, it's the only one item is related to your work, your technical skills. The rest is all is attitude. And as I said, attitude is only come, if you look at it, they all require, if I'm very passionate about something, you will not know until I don't show that passion to you. So this attitude, you need it to develop with the help of other people. And uni give you that environment because you get like-minded people. You have I'm going to change your perspective. I'm going to change your whole, the mindset to going to uni. I shouldn't say change. I'm going to give you a proposition to think differently, to study after the school. First line you need to remember and you need to think about it. It's my suggestion. Think that way. You're one step before you get into the practical life. So this is the last time you need to get trained for the life. So you should look at, I'm not going to get a degree. I'm going to get trained to work with the others to get these qualities in me. So that is my workplace. That is my training place. Instead of saying I'm getting educated, you say I'm getting training. Training is more practical word and education is more information only. Okay. And I tell you, even if you're lucky, you don't get these qualities within you, and by luck, you have so much technical skill and experience of the job you applied for, and you got that job by luck. I tell you, either you will suffer or your office staff will suffer, and you'll get a hard lesson, and you will learn all these qualities at the job in a hard way, rather than you get them easy way. So if you do these things, now I'm going to share some of the idea, how can you get these qualities while you're studying? Okay. Let's get going to this is so if you have any question about that attitude, you can ask. As I said, please keep putting, whenever I get a pause, get any question or something you ask, because that's really helped me. Because what I share, it doesn't matter. What you learn is matters. Your learning is more important than my saying and my doing. So if you tell me what you're thinking and we discuss a little bit, I know it's not like a meeting style, but still we're not a big number. So if you have something to say, you just say, I want to say something. Be courageous. So if I give you again 20 seconds to think of any comment, feedback, or a question. Ten minutes break after that. Okay. If you don't have any question, we're moving on. We're going to get a 5 to 7 minutes break as well. As I can see, most of us are Muslims, so we're going to do a Maghrib as well in the middle, so I need a 7-minute break somewhere. Maybe I've covered a couple of things. Okay, so our current study style at the moment, as we say, we need a job, we also need a piece of paper, which is a degree, and we also need a learning, as Noor said. The learning itself is the power, because if you learn something, you get a rest of things is a byproduct, exactly what is said. You'll get rest of the things anyway. So that's what you should focus on. So if somebody else do your assignment and you get the pass, you miss everything, because next semester you will have a trouble. I'm not going to go through all those things now, but learning, you should be focused. Rest of the things will follow. And on the practical side, your study is composed of few components. You will get a lecture, and lecture will be there. Then you have some tutorial. It's different from degree to degree. Some will have a lab work, some will have tutorials, some will have study prac work, and then two common things, you will have assessments and assignments, projects. These depends on what kind of degree you're doing. Some will have final exam. So these are some of the bits and pieces which will be the whole purpose of these ones, to make sure you learn. There are two components. One is a teaching, and one is the teaching. The other one is assessments. The assessment is they use assessment tools to make sure and test you that you learned or not. That is their focus. So if you try to some way bypass it, means you are not only deceiving them, also you are deceiving yourself as well. So this is the current style of this, where I'm going to give you smart study style, where I'm going to take a break after this slide. I want you to change your mind towards the study. I take Awais word, what he said, you've got to be passionate about something. So pick the area of your passion. If you didn't develop it, after a few semesters, if you find something else, you wasted those semesters. I have 9 or 10 cases. The kids I was mentoring them, they changed their area of study. Can you believe the guy, after 3 semesters, he quit medical sciences and start his teaching degree. Look at how big is the shift. If you don't have, I normally do a lot of mentoring to high school kids to develop their passion. So by the time they finish their year 12, they exactly know what they want to do in their life. Because this is very important. Think about, you do something, you get a degree in an area which you don't like, later on you find, oh no, this is not, I can't do 8 hours a day for next 30 years, this thing. So this is very important. You find something you love to do every day. It doesn't matter you get paid, not paid. This is very, very, very important, because this will make your learning so easy. Because you love to do anything you love to do. Do you feel tired doing it? No, absolutely not. Think about the things you do. And whenever I ask this question in a wider audience, in a face-to-face, everybody say, I love playing games. When I say area of passion, means something you do which help others. I'm not talking about hobbies or time-killing things. I'm talking something you do which help others. That will get paid. All right? Otherwise, it'll be hobby, unless you want to be an artist or something. The second thing, which is very, very important, I'm going to say to you is, imagine your Uniatape as a work placement. Your boss is your teacher. You pay your boss to be your teacher. Okay, you pay your teacher to be your boss. But if you take your teacher as a teacher and you say, look, his job is to deliver things to me and I paid him, things will not work that effective as I'm trying to explain to you. Though they are there to help you, but you need to take that uni as a workplace. So what are the two things you need? I'm going to suggest to you. The one is be punctual there. Even I say to all my the students I'm mentoring, then I said, don't put anything else on the day when you have a uni. Try not to mix up. And you go uni 9 o'clock and come 5 o'clock, unless you have a very evening classes or you have some work commitment or something. Means spend at least 5 to 7 hours. And I suggest most of the students don't go very casual because it's part of the attitude. How can be you just go in a shorts and thongs? How can be you having a habit, putting a tie, or if your job, I don't know, whatever your work placement will be. How can you develop so quickly that attitude of clothes after degree? Why don't you start practicing now? So everybody else seeing it, how committed you are. And when I say be committed, mean don't give up and come home. Like I'm at the job. Let's say I'm a sales supervisor somewhere. And somewhere there's the next guy who's gonna take my role. It's a shift work. I'm gonna finish 4 o'clock and the other guy gonna take 4 o'clock onward. If he's sick, late or something, can I leave that job? No, because workers and everything is going on. So that is required. So that I want you to think about it and have question about it. How, like say, how if I have a situation like this, how can I do it? If a situation like this, how can I do it? So two things I try to pass it on to you. One is develop your passion. If you didn't do it, you still have a time. We do another workshop on this normally, how to develop your passion. How do I know what passion I have for something? The second thing I want you to look at it, think about uni as your work placement. Is this your workplace where you go and do your work? The only difference is you learn about your work first and then tell them I learned it. For that, you need to do that thing. You need to have the day you have a uni, try to be starting, doesn't matter your class what time is, you go 9 o'clock. And I'll tell you later on why we need to do that. And you can't leave your work until the job is not done. Okay? And if you have other situation, please put it up. And we're gonna take a 7-minute break. I'll be back. Welcome back, everyone. Thanks for sticking to the point. I just want to quickly recap if everybody's there. So far we covered why do we study, and then we touch on the good life, and we've worked out that good life doesn't only depend on your learning, also it depends on how your habits and attitude is developed. So job is not the life, but it's a part of the life, because that's the job is one of the product of your learning in the uni. And then we covered what employers look into you or look for a employee, what are the main attitude personality check they want to have in a prospective employee. We touch on that. And then we said that what's a smart study style paradigm shift we need to have, which is I'm going to touch again. Say you need to have two things. One is you need to develop your passion. The second thing you need is to start thinking uni as your office. It's just a mental thing, and we're going to touch again and again on this, what it makes a difference to your study. Okay, let's moving on with the whole journey of a semester. Let's start from week 1, which is going to start in different uni, starting on different week. Some are starting next week, some maybe after. When you start a semester, first week, some students skip it and it's they're going to be no important, they're just going to talk about it. And it's a very important, because it's very important to attend that first lecture or introduction to lecture at the subject, or where they're going to talk about unit plan. The unit plan, some call subject, some call unit, but in that session, which normally happens in a big lecture theater, where they talk about few things: the learning outcomes, how many credit hours will be having. If you don't know what's the credit hours, it's the number of hours they design for that subject per week. Okay. Sean, can we stop that or not? Who's doing it? Are you doing it? Okay. So how many credit hours, if you're not familiar with, I repeat that, somebody designed that subject. And that person is not a normal person, he's a PhD person. And he designed this subject need 10 hours per semester, sorry, per week a student should spend on. On the other side, most of the students only calculate the hour they spend in the classroom, like a lecture, okay, 1 hour lecture, 2 hour in tutorial, and 1 hour prac work. That's it. Okay, I need to spend 4 hours. They never look at it. This subject, averagely, they are 8 to 10 hours per week. So where the 6 hours will be spent, that's how I'm going to touch on it, where you need to plan it. So when they say it's a 10 credit hour subject, you need to plan 10 hours. You need to schedule 10 hours at least. If you're good, if you're struggling with the subject, you might need to add extra hour, which is overtime. The next is you need to know your bosses very, very well, because they're going to decide how many marks you're going to get. It depends how much you know them, because it's like you know your subject, but you don't know how they mark your assessments. For that, you need to know how your boss think about the assessments. And the one important thing, which is to know your major deliverables. When I say deliverables, all your assessment items. It can be 1 marks per week, or it can be 10 marks, 2 assignments, or 15 marks, 1 assignment, and 1 project, 20 marks. They're all gonna tell in that session. That's a very, very important. You need to have, they normally give a printed copy, I believe. But if you don't get printed off yourself, if they upload on their printed off, highlight those things. If you too much used to the tablet, make sure these are the 3 things you need to know. How many credit hours, the email and address of the person who's going to be lecturer and tutor and all that. And also on the side note, I was just looking at when you pick your timetable, try to get to obviously everybody wants to spend minimum days on in the uni, so they can have more time for jobs and other things to do in their life. But make sure you have enough hours to fill up your credit hours. And I tell you from experience, whatever the credit hours they say, students need a little bit more than that, because they waste time here in the canteen and hanging out in the library and just here and there. And the second most important thing, your major deliverables. And along that side, you need to sharpen your communication skills. I'm going to talk a little bit more about communication skills afterwards, which is very, very important. 90% of the problems in a work placement is solved with the communication. And the same thing in the uni. And I'll repeat these things again on different timing. The last thing I want to say, aim high makes you a leader. What does that mean? Mean you need to plan ahead. This will save you, it's like 10 minutes planning in the night will save you 1 hour start of your day. And people who are used to checklist and all those things, they know it makes sense. It's like you're going to buy something. If you make a list of what you want to buy, you spend less time in a shopping. That's practical experience you have already. Now we come to the, okay, we got a little bit of unit. We know our unit, we know our bosses, we know what's required. Now I'm going to give you some practical things about communication thing. First thing, as we said before, commitment. Paying for the fee, going to uni shows you commitment. But you go there, don't attend a lecture, is lack of commitment. And if you have challenges, you communicate with your peers, mean your fellow students, to your lecturer, anything. And then sometime if you struggle in any of those things, you use the collaboration. For example, I can't understand something. I can't understand one thing. I can collaborate with my tutor or my peer. And similarly, I'm doing assignment, I'm struggling somewhere. You need to collaborate with someone. It can be anywhere. But if you just don't know how to be a good team player, for example, they make you to do that. These skills are actually built into the study, but they don't spell it out. When they give you group assignment, what is their purpose? To develop team skills. But if you distribute the job and never meet in the team, never make yourself a team, you never do the things, you distribute the job and you meet on the last day and combine the report and submit. That's not you didn't learn any collaboration skill. Okay, because when you collaborate, you also shows the commitment and communication built into it. Okay, so I'm going to repeat these 3 C's again and again, because when I do an interview, I only talk about these 3 things. I only check the attitude towards are they committed to job? They know how to communicate. Can they collaborate? So I do a practical interview. Within 20 minutes, I know that they can work with me, because the technical skills I can teach them in 2 or 3 weeks. But these attitude thing, it will take 6 to 7 months to change, and some don't. So you got a few years to develop those things in you. Okay, moving on. Now I give you practical steps. We are in our week 1. Okay, Shan, can you wipe it off, this smiley face?
I'm not nervous.
You're not?
No,
Did you do it? Or somebody else do it? Okay. I don't know. Let me see. Just a second. I'll go back. I don't mind it. It looks nice, but it just come in a text. So you need to bring planning into your life now. Like we do when, like I'm now in a practical life. I need to plan my work, my family life, and I need to also have some community work. So I need to plan all those things. Because you come from a school environment where all planning is your study and yourself. But now you started a job. A job is to prepare yourself for the job. You are in a training mode. So if you have a study, you need to plan with you. If you have a part-time job, you need to plan ahead to make sure you don't tighten up. So I've seen kids, we asked them, why are you yawning? I did a full night job and now I'm in a uni. So do you think he's doing a good for whatever the time is spending in uni is wasting? And when he go back home, he's tired, he hates everything. The same thing, you've got a family as well. You can't just on a weekend, whole week, you've been just wasting time. On a weekend, you start studying and family asks you, let's go. We need to learn, Shan, how to stop it, because I don't know who's doing it, but who got the access to this sheet? No one else, right?
Continuing the meeting will sort out later.
Okay, thanks for that. We can just give me a pause. So Yasin is doing it. Please don't do it. I'll figure out it technically, but I just want to see. Let me see, Shan. Just give me a second. Figure it out. It's everything. I'm glad somebody did, and I'm happy I learned something new. I didn't know how to do it, but I got it. So I just want to. Thanks, buddy. You taught me something I didn't know that exists in that tool. Now I'm gonna enjoy it more. Actually, thanks for doing it. Okay. Be early to the introductory session to meet the person. Believe me, if I will have it, I'll go. I'm actually enjoying it. I used to be on time in most of the session. I used to go any meeting and anything. And I figured out when I go 15 minutes before the session, at least by default, I become host because I'm a techie. Wherever the session I go, the presenter is struggling to set up a projector. And I help them, and then we become friends. And because I'm early, I always get a front seat. Now we have a bit of relation already going because I get a personal like interaction because they come early because they're excited. They want to make sure my presentation uploaded, everything, no drama with the things because they didn't come from holidays and they want to make sure everything's screen, all those things are working. So you, at that time, you get their contact detail, make sure they get the email, and if they have a certain phone number, office number. And the second practical thing straight away you need to do it is to put those timing in your calendar. If you're not used to, we also run a workshop on Google for Studies where we teach all these things. Put there your weekly schedule for all the things, including your personal study hours, into calendar. So that shows you are organized. So your lecture, prep work, whatever the time they allocated, you put in a calendar with a reminder and introduce yourself to the teacher so they can have your impression, personal interaction recorded in their brain because it solely depends. If you come after the last person and there are 150 people already there, he's already panicked, he's late and all that, you won't get that option. You might have option after the class, but there'll be a queue of people to asking question and other thing, and he's already tired. So this is for the first week. Thanks, Nora. I got that sorted. Thank you very much. So now we go to the week 2. We got all these things set it up in our calendar, and we know when our classes are. Along with those, I should add on to in the calendar, you should put your major assignments, and the final exam date won't be known that time, but all the major assignment, you put the deadline dates in there with the reminder, at least 2 reminder. One is 1 week before and one is 2 or 3 weeks before. So remind, okay, in 3 weeks you got it, because your lecturer, your boss, not gonna remind you about your work. It's not school anymore where you get 3 reminder, 2 reminder, and the note is sent to your home. No, they're gonna just give you this. That unit outline, a subject introduction pages are basically contract between you and your teacher boss. They know that they told you on that day you got assignments. No, your job is to remember it. Okay, and I'll tell you why. So you make sure that you understand the whole requirement for getting those marks or whatever the assessment they put it forward to you. You understand it and you do them as per the plan. Calendar is helping you to remember it. And you come, for example, you have an 11 o'clock lecture or class or whatever, and you come at 9 o'clock. You come at 9 o'clock. So what are you going to do in the 2 hours? earlier than that. That's very, very important time. Very important time where you just, that many students don't do. I'm going to go through again. You read the chapter or the slide they uploaded. Some teachers upload the slide 1 week before, and some do after the lecture for certain persons. And some give all the lecture notes for all the lectures to the online. Some don't do so. You need to work differently with a different teacher, but some way or form from the book, a textbook. If they don't upload, you ask them which chapter you're going to cover next week, and make sure you go through those lecture notes like a novel. A slide should just flick around and see what are the concepts you already know. Because remember, every learning is based on your previous learning. They never give you brand new learning. They always use previous learning. So bit of things you will know, and the bit of things you won't know. There'll be always 50 or 40, 60 proportion where 60% you already know things, 40% you don't know. What you don't know is very important for you to know, because that is what you're going to learn from the lecture. Other people, they're not prepared, they just come. So for the 40% you don't know, or 30% or 50%, your focus will be to learn about those things. And you will already have a question in your mind. Write down those questions. Averagely, I say to people, spend 20 minutes or 30 minutes, spend time on reading about the lecture or learning you're going to learn. Just know about what you're going to learn today. That will make a huge difference, because you are the one will have a question hand ready. Because if you don't know what you're going to learn, when you go there, by the time you think of a question, he's on the next slide. You're not going to be giving 20 seconds what I'm giving to you to ask me something. And also other people will have having a hands up as well. And this will, if you put a hands up and you ask a question, which are the hard one, teacher will appreciate, because these are the things he wants other students to understand fully, because these are the things will be in the assessment. I'm going to cover something very, very important now. They want you to learn something by yourself, but they give you support. So whatever they're going to cover in a lecture is a concept. And they want you to practice that concept in the tutorial or a prac work or a group study, a group work. Practice it. And then apply those, whatever you practice, independently in the assessment. So that's why in the lecture, whatever they explain, they want you to practice it in tutorial with the guided. There'll be tutor or there'll be somebody there to help you out to understand. But once you learn it, don't wait for anything. Try to apply into assessment. Whatever the assignment or project work they get, apply it straight away. So you know, if you apply and it works, you know that you understood that concept. So this is how the whole story goes around. So people who skip the lecture and they don't fully there or just sit there, do nothing. I normally, if I get the assessment early, I take my assessment with me in the lecture and try to see and ask question about the assessment, not directly, but indirectly, what concept related to that. So normally 3 or 4 lecture cover one assessment. Most of my example coming from IT background, but if you guys are doing another degree, there'll be different. So you can ask me questions if you're doing something differently or you're experiencing something differently. By the way, we're going to have another workshop in the middle of a semester, how to manage your study. That time you will have some sort of challenges and you can have some questions as well. Okay, I got this situation, that situation. So this is very important to understand how they design the study for you. They don't spell it out, these things for you. They want you to understand. But people who don't do planning and they're not focusing what's happening, what's happened is on the last week of the assessment, they start the assessment and then they have a question, then they go for extension, and teacher doesn't like that. Say, look, last 4 weeks you did nothing. Now you want me to give you the solution. Okay. So whenever you go and ask for the help from your teacher, you always show what you have done. So they know you're not asking for help, you're not asking for the solution, you are getting their feedback. Now I'll give you the practical step as a summary. Schedule your credit hours. This is a practical step. So if they say 10 hours, 5 hours is the actual time and 5 hours your personal study on reading your lecture before the actual lecture, reading your book or a slide, whatever. Then you have something to study yourself after the lecture. Then the prac work, they might give you some homework and then some work on the assessment. That is yours. So what happens is everybody rush to the last week to the assessment, and then they spend nights and nights. What they get the marks and everything, but they don't get the learning. Okay. So as I said, study the slide and chapter as a novel, highlight on what you didn't get, a clue, so you know that's the focus point, and then focus on in the lecture, ask question. Most probably same question will be a part of the tutorial, prac, discussion, or a short question answer, depends on different subject. Pursue them there, those questions in a tutorial, because you have less number of people around the teacher or a tutor. You have more time to interact with the other peers, explain your understanding. Then straight away try to apply an assignment. That's where I say reading and remembering, the time is gone. It's all about understanding the concept and applying them into a situation you never get a help about. So assignment is always something unique nowadays. They make such a way even you can't help other students because his assignment, your assignment is different. The scenario is totally different. And lastly, I want to add on to it, which is very important, that from 3 weeks, less than 3 weeks if left to any assignment, you need to change your teacher. Say, look, I need assignment now, because otherwise it'll be hard. If some teachers, they're not very organized, unfortunately, they forgot to upload the assignment, it's not ready or whatever. This also shows the passion to the teacher. If you approach, look, I'm looking for assignment so I can start work on it, then they say like you are organized person, rather than you say it's better he's not giving me so we get more time to have it. That's wrong approach, because then you will have less weeks to work on them. So if you have any question about it, we are getting towards the end of the things, and so I just want to know if you understood so far. Yes, no, please give me your feedback. I give it 20-second break again. We got last 15 minutes to cover and wrap up the things. Okay, coming back to the major assignments, because that's where I was reading when I was studying, and I laughed about it when I see so many websites offering services to do your assignment on a paid basis. What a joke to learning about it. It's totally like, it's shameful that you are giving somebody money to do your assignment. Means you're totally, what's going to happen in your actual job? When they give you assignments, you're going to pay someone to do your work. Doesn't make sense. So what's the assignment? From student point of view, it's only 15 to 30% of your marks. From normal people think, oh, it's very important assignment, I need to do it because it's got 30% marks attached to it. But basically, that's the enjoyment time where you're going to apply your learning, and that will give you clear answer that you learned or not learned. Okay. And from the teacher point of view, they want to know that, are you committed to your subject or job? Can you communicate if you have a trouble? Can you ask questions? Can you show what you learned? And also, can you collaborate with others for learning? You can't learn alone. It's not a history. Nowadays, everything is practical. They want to know, can you work independently without giving any reminder? Are you an organized person? Can you ask questions if you have trouble? And if you have a group work, can you work with a team player or not? These are things, remember, we've covered in a start. That's what employer look for when they're employing someone. If you get those skills through these assignments, means you're ready for the job. Okay. And practical steps for the major assignment, which is same, be ahead of the game. It's a summary. Get the assignments ASAP, which shows a commitment. Have a can-do approach. Always, whenever we give assignment to the students, they ask the hardest question about the last part of the assignment. And I always, did you finish first two parts? Nope, I didn't start them yet. I say, when you do those parts, finish them, show me them, and then I give you feedback. And believe me, when they do those two parts, the third part, they can do it. Because they were all built upon each other. Also, there was another lecture they did not get yet. That's like a pessimistic approach. Always look for what you can't do. If you start doing it, it's like you've been given to jump to the three-step ladder or three-step or whatever, and you just keep on talking about third level. Why don't you build up first two levels? The third will be already built up upon those. So if you do the easy part first, then you will know what you don't know, and then you can focus on that. Always remember 80-20 rule, mean 80% of the assignment should be finished in 20% time, and the 20% of the assignment will take your 80% work. So always start quickly to know what you don't know so you can work on it, rather than just work on what you don't know and never start the other part. And whatever you do, try to get feedback with the humbleness. Don't say, I finished this, and don't say, I don't know this part, and tell me about the solution. No, just say, look, sir, whatever you call teachers, say, look, Mr. This and this, I've done this, and I just want to know I'm on the right track before I finish the rest. So don't say it's wrong or right. They just give you a smile, say we'll mark it when we get it. But say, I just want to say I'm on the right track. This is very, very important. You can't ask them, because this is marking without penalty. Asking a feedback is marking without penalty. Only guys who start their assignments early will get that benefit. Because on the last day, you can't ask this. Say, you should have come earlier. All right? And your last day, say, I need extension. You can't ask earlier. Keep going and talk about your peers, tutor, lecturer, past students, about your assignments. Say, look, complete it. When I say complete, doesn't mean it's ready to submit. Mean as much you can. Like it's like a draft, complete draft. Just complete it at least 1 week before submission. Some people say, how it's not possible? I say, if you do the formula, I gave it to you, then it's possible. Do as much you can do. Then say, look, I completed it, and show other, and say, give us a feedback. Is it complete? Did I miss anything? Just I want to know. They will say, look, they won't tell you what you really miss. Say, look around this section, look again. So you get a clue, okay, I need to do, and then you talk to other peers, and also help others in completing assignment. Not give them the solution, just understanding the concept. Give the same feedback like you're getting from your tutors. So this way, you're repeating your knowledge. You know, when you teach someone, it's guaranteed that you'll have that knowledge. And this will give you much more confidence, because you are doing the revision so many times. If you finish your assignment 1 week before, you have a time to repeat your concept with others, and that will help you final exam. More you talk about it, more you will have understand it better. And it's a practical thing. I get feedback from many students. On the lastly, final exam, I'm not a big fan of the final exam because it's a big burden, and nowadays more and more things are practical. So if you practically can do something and show your assessment and thing, and also it's from student point of view, it's a big thing because it decides sometime pass and fail. I don't use this, I mean you're not competent enough to go forward. And from the unit in charge point of view, they want to know how much you retain and how much you borrowed from the others. So that will decide. And the main thing is, if it's a technical subject, that's the time in 2 hours you need to show that whatever you learn you can apply independently, because nobody there to help you, and you got 2 or 3 hours to show your thing. Final exam is a big thing. And from practical steps, again, we assume that you followed our study approach, what we explained. So your revision should be very easy. Don't try to learn something new. I have seen they start a new chapter before the exam. No point learning about it because you never practiced, you never did assignment, you never did a group work on it. If you missed it, you missed it. And rest of the thing what you studied before, just read them like a novel. I mean, just go through them and try to teach someone, maybe in a group study or interact with someone. And before the exam, don't study hard on that night. Please have a good sleep. Very important, have a long sleep because your brain will be fresh and your information will be well structured. Get your emotion right. It's a very important. It's a joyful day. You're going to show off what you learned. Because if you follow our technique, you won't have any stress at all. So when you go there, don't talk to anybody about what you learned. They're going to, did you study this chapter and that chapter? It will distract you. It will make you panic. If you say, look, everything good, I'm cool. And don't go very early to the exam. Normally I say everywhere you go early, but here just go. Don't interact with many students because they're going to talk about subject and you get a little bit distraction. Be total calm is very important, and you should have best tools like a good pen, all those tools with the time and stopwatch and all kind of thing. So the whole idea to keep yourself calm, you organize, feel excited that this will give you positive emotions or happy feeling, happy chemicals. Time management is very important. You get time management by doing two things. Put your head down, fully focus. You think you are the only person there. You get too many distractions when another asks question. Your exam guy asking something, announcing something. You should listen that, but don't go get involved what's happening around you. Just focus on your thing. Start with this soft to hard approach, same like assessment. Start with a question you already know. This will give you confidence because it's about 60 to 40 rules. You spend 60% time on the 40% things which are harder, but you spend 40% time on the 60% questions. So you get, okay, I'm pass anyway because I've done 60%. So that after that you feel relaxed. And when you're relaxed, your brain start to work. The hard question don't remain hard anymore because your brain start to flow, get the flow. So I have seen that the question I skip, when I come back, I knew the answer because all the memory and other things start to work properly. And when you finish the exam, after that, don't talk about it. It's done, dusted, it's a past. When you go out, don't ask others, did you do this question? What is the answer of that? That's done, gone. Don't worry about it. If anything you're interested, go home and study about it. Say, look, I did this. I want to clear it. I want a clarity. I got something new in the exam. I want to know more about it. So that is okay. But don't stress about it. It was a playtime. It's like when you play a game and you don't score well, you don't keep repenting on it or just keep thinking about it. You say next time there'll be another day to do another thing. So these are the practical things about the exam and assignments. If you have any question, you can put it forward. Meanwhile, I give you a link to give me feedback about your things. Now you have sometimes as many questions you ask. People who don't have a question, they can leave. If they want to listen, they answer, they can stay. Excellent. No, very good question. Thanks for that. I really enjoyed your company. I would love to talk sometime just to know. Meanwhile, I just give you the link for the feedback. That's the only reward I'm expecting from everyone, to just give a feedback to this talk I gave. So tell me what should I improve. So there's a link. I put it in the chat. If you click on it, it's a small form while I focus on what Noor asked me about it. I'm expecting another feedback, and that should be it. So I just focus on question what Noor asked me, how the employer look for the 3C. I tell you, how do I do it? I normally do practical interview. I just bring them to the workplace, and I just make them through few tasks which I design. So I give them those tasks. For example, I just say, look, can you do this paperwork or some kind of thing? And if I leave them alone for 5 minutes and I come back and they stop, and I ask them, why did you stop? Oh, I thought you need only few. No, I ask them, you could ask me, do you need? So they don't use communication. They were not committed. If they're committed today, they say, look, I have done 10, you need more? I'm thinking we should do more. You need all of them. So that shows the two things. They know how to communicate, then they're committed to work. And if they can't do the job, for example, I ask them, why didn't you do it? Oh, I needed a pen. I say, you could ask somebody. Did you ask anybody? No. So these are this is the smallest thing. So when you go to the biggest side, the bigger interview style where there's no practical thing, they make you, for example, sit down and they just ask you, tell me some challenge at work, past work you had. When you tell the story, they pick at your attitude. You need to involve those three. So they look up. I had a situation where we had an electricity issue and job needed to be done. So I hired a generator and get the job done. And I called that person to help me. I borrowed this tool and that tool. And so these stories should be real, but you need to highlight these words in there where you say, look, being this player and that player, I did this. I hope I try to cover. It's a long answer, but I have another talk about on 3C, which is task management. It's another workshop, complete workshop on 3C. If you're interested in these things, we are soon going to be put up all the workshop on a website. So anybody, whenever we see the 10 people are interested, we will open that workshop. We've done these in the past. If you have another question or you need further collaboration, thanks, Noor. Thanks for the feedback. That's all I need, because I can go on and on. But the attitude thing, whoever gave me feedback, I'm going to share the 3 people. I'm going to share these slides so you can go through again to brush up your concept, or if you have any thing. You already got an email from us, so if you have anything else, you can reply to that email, and I'm happy to answer as well. Anybody else among other two, if you have any question, thanks for the feedback, and I'm just going to likewise. I enjoyed Wes is very good feedback. I got a couple of things I learned from there, and I will remember that what you said is learning is everything, and rest is a byproduct, and that's absolutely true. When guys come to my workplace, I say you need to commit it only to the work, not to me, not to anything else, because your work will get you above what you are now. Because if you don't do work well, I won't like you to come here anyway. if you flatter me, if you praise me. But if you do very well, even you're not personally not a good person, I still can have you. So if you're good with the communication and all those things. Any more question before we close it? We are 6 minutes more than what we planned. And if you are in our mailing list, you will get more information about. We do, as I said, one workshop we are planning to do in the middle of the semester, how to manage your study. So you'll have another time to go through the challenges you are having. The other one is we do Google for Studies. And the third one is we do every Friday night, we do small session, 1 hour session about smart study skills, different topics, learning about learning styles, digital reputation is on the plate we are going to do next week, and also about what are the new trends in the learning. So these are things we do. Thank you very much for listening so long. It was a bit of a 1 hour plus continuous thing, and we had a bit of break as well. Thank you very, very much, and have a good night, and assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.